Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the Gnome Train.
Woo! Chugga, 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 woo!
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
I'm Frazley, and for the 150th episode of FrazlCast, I am joined by Ali of Dungeon Fables and all things Azeroth.
Hello!
Anastasia.
Howdy, folks.
And Xortz.
You never learn your lesson, and you keep bringing me back.
I know. But I realized we need to be very quiet, because this is the ASMR special. Can somebody please read off from Wikipedia, what is ASMR?
I think I got this. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, or ASMR, sometimes Autosensory Median Response, is a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine, a pleasant form of paresthesia. It has been compared with auditory tactile synesthesia and may overlap with frisson. That sweet, sweet frisson. ASMR signifies the subjective experience of low-grade euphoria, characterized by a combination of positive feelings and a distinct static-like tingling sensation on the skin. Ooh, boy! It is commonly triggered by specific auditory or visual stimuli, and less commonly by intentional attention control, a genre of videos which intend to stimulate ASMR has emerged, which over 13 million are published on YouTube.
Wow, that is incredible. I am not sure how long all of us will keep this up, but it's time for something. So we've been planning this episode since at least last summer. So before we get into it, Epicinsanity, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Sorry about that. I didn't ask Epic for an ASMR bumper, but great idea. So what have we been up to recently?
Well, not laughing at Xortz while he read that description. Don't know how long I can keep doing this, but I'm going to try. You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, thank you.
I believe.
So many different ways right now. So I've been reading a lot. I really love doing horrific visions. On my way to being exalted with 8.3 reps. And, just enjoying WoW and looking forward to the end of the expansion so I can do a lot of things I want to do, like leveling Horde side, alts, WoW challenges, other games, and of course just waiting for Shadowlands like everyone else. And also running a lot of Icecrown Citadel. A lot.
Why are you running Icecrown Citadel so much, Ali?
Yeah, because there's a show called Dungeon Fables.
Oh, I think I've heard of that show, yes.
Yeah, I might be part of that show. That show might be a part-time job right now because Icecrown Citadel has a lot to it. So a lot of research means a lot of running Icecrown Citadel.
Has Invincible dropped for you yet?
Of course it hasn't.
Oh.
You would be the first to know.
That is true. And Anna, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been up to quite a bit. And I want to say before I get into what I'm up to, Ellie, I'm so looking forward to the Icecrown Citadel episode. That is my favorite dungeon. And like I said when you came on my show, I'm so excited for it. Like, I have so many good memories. I can't wait to see you do it justice.
Well, you see, I've already done, it's going to be 3 episodes. And the first one's already out.
God.
3 is a lot.
Okay, well, I've got to go, so I've got to catch up on this episode that Ellie's put out. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get into what I've been doing. So I've been playing a ton of Civilization 6 with my friends. Civilization 6 is a game that I have, my best friend has, my husband has, and my best friend's partner. And all we've been doing is taking over countries foolish enough to test our nerve. So I've really been enjoying that. Nothing says domination like a night of ASMR and Civ 6. This best friend that I just spoke about, who I've been dominating together with, she moved across the country to Seattle of all places, and video games have been a thing that have been keeping us together. So we've been spending our evenings going hardcore on Civ 6.
Which countries are you at?
So I really love to play either Eleanor of Aquitaine or Gorgo. Eleanor of Aquitaine has this great mechanic where her loyalty spreads so much that cities around you will just turn their allegiance to you. So you don't have to do anything to take over, but just, be yourself, which is a message I can get behind.
Absolutely, me too.
And I've been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. There are 8 days until New Horizons, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. You can tell I'm getting out of my ASMR voice, and I'm getting into Animal Crossing very excited voice. So we better take it down and move on. I've been looking at a little bit of Skyrim as well, looking to get back into that universe because I'm ready for some news about Elder Scrolls 6, even though I'm sure I'm not going to see it before I'm 30. So.
Yeah, and hopefully there's not the bugs like in Fallout 76.
Ooh, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully on an Elder Scrolls franchise, it's a little bit nicer. That's really all I've been doing, but before I give it over, I'm going to give you a couple of, hopefully, ASMR triggers, because I'm not sure how long we're going to have this. And that's the tea.
So, Xortz, what have you been up to?
Well, Frazby, before I get into that, I would just like to say welcome, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. It's time to relax, so get yourself a nice cup of tea or a glass of wine or maybe a nice bourbon and just sit back and relax. And this is a bottle of water that I'm not going to be drinking because here I have a glass. In that glass, I'm going to be popping open this beer because I can't put up with this anymore.
Oh, that was great.
All right, I'm ASMR'd out. I am.
I was worried you were going to do that for your whole thing and just really, really work it, and I was going to be dying and not breathing.
I thought about it, but the thing is, I hate ASMR videos.
I had a feeling Xortz. I kept thinking, out of all the ones, Xortz is going to be the one that's going to be the most against it. I was like, that's why I got to get Xortz on this button.
Look, you can read me like a book on something, and I'm proud of that. It's a good sign of our friendship. So, wow, okay, that was not supposed to go in there.
Whoa, really? Really?
Yeah, okay, I don't know how that happened, but I'm gonna go ahead and
That's what she said?
all right, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah, I just that's what she said, the show notes, guys. For context. Professionalism. It's all over the place here. All right. So, let's see. What have I been up to? After a couple of months break, I'm finally back in WoW.
Nice.
Took a break right around Thanksgiving because I was just not feeling it. I haven't felt the expansion at all. I got my goblin still sitting at 111. Like a year later, he has not budged. For those who aren't familiar with me, I am one of the moderators of the WoW Challenges community. 99% of what I do in WoW is an Iron Man challenge or a Bloodthirsty challenge or one of the other various challenges that we have. Let's check those out, wowchallenges.com. So I took a break around Thanksgiving up until just past New Year and back doing some challenge stuff. I have been out of work since the end of December, but I'm actually going back to the job I just got laid off from on Sunday, so I am actually going to be able to put up a stream schedule because I'll know what days I'm working, or nights I'm working, I should say now.
Yeah.
So once that's up and running, I need to go back and finish my playthroughs of Bully and Red Dead Redemption 2 because I have not finished them yet. And there's some other games I'm probably going to dive into, like Yakuza 0, which is one I kind of started and never really got much into it. Despite the fact that I'm kind of against it, after seeing some people play the demo, I think the Final Fantasy remake might be a possibility.
It looks good. Michael played the demo last weekend, and he really liked it.
That's what I've been doing. So if anybody here is like a night owl, I'll be streaming late nights. So
And he does a good stream. I really enjoy it.
An entertaining stream.
Oh, absolutely. And he's got a sounder of mine on that stream too.
Yes, I do.
And that's from episode 100, right?
It's a really good one. Just saying.
Yes, it's a really good. Well, Xortz, have you ever done farming?
Yes, I have. There was this wonderful, wholesome game called Stardew Valley that I unexpectedly fell down a rabbit hole with. It's a good, wholesome game, and I pretty much ripped it to shreds on many occasions because some of those characters just deserve it.
Is that a love interest in that game that just turned you down? It's like,
no, it's mainly the storekeeper, the mayor, and 99% of the town's population because they're idiots.
Oh no, not the mayor.
Damn purple shorts.
I mean, ooh, you better tell Marnie to watch it with those purple shorts.
oh yes, Arnie, I still got to find those purple shorts in my game. I started.
Fraz, you've been doing the Stardews on my recommendation, actually.
Absolutely, because you said I would love it, and I really have loved it. It's a nice game to play when you're streaming because it's fun, it's relaxing.
I'm gonna throw something out here, a thought, an idea. Frazley and Xortz Stardew co-op.
Yes, please.
Ooh,
I mean, there's multiplayer. You can have
There
up to
is.
4 people.
ooh, I like this idea.
I have like 4 to 6 years in Stardew Valley. I'm just saying. No.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay. We can Anna, of course, would be more than welcome. But like I said, I warn you, I'm one of those people that'll just sit there, be running around town. I'll run past those and I'll be like, "Fuck you, Lewis!"
You?
Not Lewis.
And there goes your clean tag again.
Hey, it took longer than I was expecting, so...
I try to be good on Fraz's show. Try. Sometimes I fail.
I mean, Stardew's a wholesome game. So is Farming Simulator, which I've been playing with our good friend Spaz Weston. So
you've been diving into like some Terraria, some farming Simulator though. Farming Simulator is a little much for me. That just seems way too much like actual work.
It's fun. Just don't try to run the train with crops, otherwise you end up down a river and have your crop stuck on a waterfall.
Oh.
That sounds really counterproductive.
Yeah. Good job. I don't think the crops are going to grow there, just so you know.
But there's water. I mean,
it's hydroponics at that point.
You've got it. See, I mean,
I'm trying to do Farming Simulator IRL, so I've got to be on top of it.
Absolutely. And also, kitchen appliances make really good volleyballs. So I've been playing Toaster Ball.
What? Toaster what?
Toaster Ball. It's by an indie company. It is incredible. It's a game where you have 2 toasters, and you're on two sides of a court, and you can jump up using the levers. You can also have toast, and like you got to try to spring your toast up for it to hit the ball from the other person. And in the midst of it, things will change. Like there's a portal gun that happens and stuff like that. And I actually won a match because of that. So thank you, Gladys.
Okay, this looks redonkulous.
It is, and it's amazing. Watch the opening video. It sold me on it.
It sounds kind of like 3D Pong. Is that right?
Yeah, and in fact, there's even a Pong variant of the level. So like you can imagine, almost it's Pong with toast.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And while just doing a lot of different things, I'm working on like the Mechanome, trying to get the Mechanome Mage. But I realized I've not done the Order Halls. So I'm working on getting the Order Hall quest for the Mage, because I got Mr. Bitey for the Warriors. But I got to work on getting the Mechanome, and then the Mage. Oh, it's so good. In fact, Lucas said that he is switching his Mage to Fire in honor of 150 of the show. So we've won another person over to Fire spec.
Ooh.
Speaking of this being episode 150, I figured it's a good idea to do a creativity check-in that includes all of us. Usually I'm the one asking.
Fraz, you've been doing something else, though. You're skipping over some stuff here, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
You and our dear good friend, the Scruffy Druid.
Oh,
Hi,
yes.
Hi, Scruffy. Love you. You guys have been, speaking of creativity, expressing yourselves in a different creative way as per streaming.
Yes. Thanks to the good encouragement of Philly S. Cheesesteak, I have got back into karaoke. I sang karaoke in front of a crowd back in December, and I really enjoyed it. Well, Scruffy was like, hey, Twitch Sings, they've added a party function. What if we do it every month? So now we've been doing monthly Twitch Sings.
Cool.
And this last one, we had Scruffy, Mr. Scruffy, Kyafin, Knight, and Scruffy and Mr. Scruffy's friend, Tasha. Oh, one of the coolest things. It was announced on the Valentine's episode of this show that Kyafin and Knight are dating. And it was so cool that they were singing together during the Twitch sings. It was just like,
Aww.
yeah,
So sweet.
cool.
they are just such a cute couple. So there's actually a clip of me on Twitch because I had a camera pointed at me while they were singing, and I'm just like, it was just so adorable because like they were singing. I forget the song; it's escaping me, but it was just so.
Was it a duet?
Yeah, because Knight recorded a duet, and then Kayafin picked it up, and I got to sing a duet of Kokomo with Phileas Cheesesteak, and there's somebody on Twitch, Batsum.
I love that, Sam.
Oh, incredible voice! Incredible voice!
Amazing voice.
I did a duet with them of Suddenly Seymour. I was Rick Moranis, and they were Audrey, and wow, they were way better than me. But what was cool, and I noticed it with Phileas and with Bat Sam, they actually had a thing where they would talk to you in the video to make you feel calmer. Be like, hey, and at the end, like, great job, thank you for singing with me. I knew that they were talking to me in recording, but it was just a cool touch.
Nice to feel like someone's cheering for you. That's the beauty of a game like Twitch Sings, is it really brings a community together over something that a lot of us can be so insecure about, like our singing voice and performing in front of other people. And I think it kind of breaks down the barrier between feeling like you're in your shower singing and feeling like you're singing in front of an audience. So I'm glad you've been really enjoying it, Fraz.
I've been careful with the duets because what got me out of Twitch Sings was I did not realize some duets are live. And I go into one duet thinking it was recorded. And I sang Audrey, the guy on that one. The whole time he's looking at me. I didn't realize after it was done that it was live. If we were in the same room, I think I would not be alive right now.
Oh, no.
But okay, so here's the thing. Okay, because admittedly I've dabbled a little bit. He has to expect that there's going to be someone who may not be up to his standards of singing. Or worse yet, a troll.
No, everybody must meet my expectations. That is final.
Yeah, how dare they?
Right? One thing I will say, because I know Phileas, and what's great about Phileas and some other people who do Twitch things, it's not about being, the perfect best singer ever. It's just about having fun.
Yeah.
And so you get those people who are good at bringing everyone in and being encouraging, no matter who you are or what your voice is like and that kind of thing. Like I hate my singing voice, but I like to sing. And he's been super encouraging, those few times I do actually get in and do some things.
See, this kind of reminds me of when I was still in an RP guild on nights where it was like just slow. There wasn't really anything happening story-wise and stuff like that. And we didn't really feel like dungeons. We would do ventrilo karaoke.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Classic.
So if any of you are listening and you want to join, Phileas Cheesesteak has a great group, but we've also started a group on the Sparkspan's Discord, and I can get you in. We're doing about once a month, and like there's a limit of 6 people in. So at some point we'll have to figure out like maybe doing like alternating people and stuff like that. But we've just been trying to create a group that's, like you were saying, it's encouraging and making people feel accepted. And I sing because I love it. I'm not great at singing, but I like doing it anyway. And it's weird though. It's easier to sing on Twitch Sings than it is to sing it in front of a crowd of people.
Of course,
you have
there's
the
a buffer.
Yeah, the monitor.
Yeah.
You can't see the faces.
See, the key for when like me and my friends would go out and there'd be a karaoke night for me would be highly inebriated. Then
beer, and more beer, right?
Couple of shots.
Yeah, me too. Like the couple of times I've done karaoke live with coworkers from the last place I worked at, there was adult beverages.
There has to be adult beverages. Otherwise, it ain't happening.
A lot.
And something that can cause us to drink adult beverages is creativity.
Days that end in Y?
That
too.
So seeing as this is episode 150, I think it's a good idea to do a creativity check-in that includes all of us. Usually I'm asking the guests, but this time I want us all to answer kind of where we are, because we're all in different areas in our journey right now. And we're going through different things. I'd say each of our lives, they're not the same, but we all can empathize in certain areas on what we're all going through. Xortz is getting ready.
He's just adding to the ASMR thing.
Oh, yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
This is Xortz SMR, all right?
He's creatively opening that beer. That's what it is.
Exactly. So what are we currently finding passion in?
There's just so much. There are some episodes of Dungeon Fables that I may not be the biggest fan of that dungeon, or the lore is really weak. But as you approach the end of Wrath, you have Forge of Souls and Pit of Sauron and Halls of Reflection and then ICC itself. And it has been so much fun to go through those and just really dive and dig into the lore. And it's also been really cool to get a chance to talk to other lore people about lore things, whether it's about Shadowlands coming up or, next week I'm going to be talking about Frostmourne and the Helm of Domination, just really digging into the lore. And I've just been really enjoying that. It hasn't been, just for the show. It's been also for my benefit because I enjoy it. So it's been really nice.
See, Allie, the fact that you're doing a lore-based podcast to me is amazing because just from what I know of Blizzard lore, and I've stopped paying attention to it after Warlords because they just threw too much shit out the window. Like, where the Frostwolf clan actually lived in Draenor and totally ignoring their own stuff repeatedly. You gotta have the patience of a saint when you come across something in a new episode, but then there was something in a past episode that completely contradicts it.
It has happened. Thankfully, there's some things that, because I do try to stick to the dungeons itself, mostly it helps. Like if there is a detail that either goes in further, like deeper beyond the dungeons, or just something that I might be a little confused about, I can just say, hey, go listen to Morley Gray because they cover the lore in detail and I don't. But no, it's...
I like that. It's a nice out and it promotes a fellow podcast.
Well, and I guess in their show too, so it works out nicely. We help each other out. They're like my brothers-in-law, as I call them, but...
Brothers?
Yeah, they're my brothers-in-law.
I see what you did there.
I go back and forth between lore brothers and brothers-in-law, but I'm sticking with brothers-in-law.
Brothers-in-law, it's nice. I like that. It rolls off the tongue easy.
There are sometimes it takes a lot of patience. There are sometimes that I believe one thing, but then I read some random bit of information. I'm like, WTF, I don't understand. But what's great about this community is that there are other people you can reach out to who can help you see it differently or point out that it's a retcon or whatever. And that has been lovely because the community is just fantastic.
What I like is I don't see competition amongst the lore podcasts.
Yeah.
You have For Azeroth, you have Dungeon Fables, you have Morley Gray podcast, you have Lore Watch, you have all these podcasts that are doing lore. Everyone's finding a different aspect of lore.
That pretty much can be said for, I would say, the majority of WoW podcasts across the community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have similar show, like you have the Ponecast doing their show, but they also support Seraphis and his stuff and all things Azeroth and Adventures in Azeroth and this and that and that. Like when I was doing the Wormcast, my direct competition was the Looking for Roleplay podcast, and they became some of my best friends.
Well, because we all have the same interests, it's this source material that we all bonded with, and so it's so hard to look at, what is a community game. Sure, you can play it solo, but a lot of it for us comes down to the community, and I think being able to find that within the podcast forum is really nice.
It would be easy to sit here and just want my downloads and be all about the numbers and not want to support anyone else because I want everyone listening to my show alone. But it's so much more fun and enjoyable to be a part of the community and support each other and have me be supported. Like, it's just, everyone lifts each other up. I wasn't sure if that would happen when I first started podcasting, but...
Look at you now, kid. You're the queen of the hill.
Quickly, I saw it. That's how it happened, And, even just so many more episodes later, it's nice to see that the community does still support each other. I mean, Frazley, you're sitting here at 150. You have supported the community so much through this show alone, and others, have been there for you too. And it's just, you're a great example of what this community is like. Especially
like in this time where we're supposed to be indoors nowadays, it's nice that my best friends are here and that like I don't have to not be with my best friends. I'd be like, hey, do you want a podcast? Do you want to stream? Do you want to just talk? And I love that because tonight I was like, we don't have to wipe down any of the services and all that stuff. I did that enough at work. Yeah, that's right. Preschool. I can't even begin to tell you how much cleaning happened.
Put that crayon down. Put that crayon. No, don't eat that. Don't put that crayon down. Don't eat that. Put that. Where did you get that dog poop from?
Basically, I have like sores on my hands from like washing them a million gajillion times a day.
Oh, you need some hand oil.
Where are your shoes? Why are you wearing her shoes? Where'd that dog poop come from again?
Yep.
Kids, man.
They're just little carriers of germs and bacteria.
Oh, they are.
Hey, I have a child. I'm allowed to say that.
I loved Rugrats and Rugrats, Phil and Lil.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Anna, how about you?
Oh, goodness. See, that's such a loaded question for me because the last time you had me on the show, I was still regularly doing general chat. And I think very shortly after that, I transitioned into this role where, gosh, I think from like September through January, I was just not home, basically. Didn't have time to game, didn't have time to do the podcast. So I'm just now getting back into a schedule where I can start getting into things that I enjoy. And what I can tell you is that creativity has been a huge outlet for me, being able to get back into, like, I'm starting to get back into streaming. I've really been releasing my creativity through art, which stays with me. I haven't put a lot of that on Twitter, but it's nice to just sit down and be like, okay, I may not have the energy to, reach out to a bunch of people and record 2 hours of audio and edit that, but at least I can sit down and put this energy into something. So I'm really looking forward to, as time switches over to my side again and I actually have moments to be able to work on creating something like the show again. I'd love to be able to do that. But for right now, I'm focusing on the small things, the small moments of creativity, and really trying to enjoy those and be present.
That's great.
I enjoyed your art when you shared them. So I can only imagine how the practice you're doing right now is building.
Yeah, lots of hands.
And Xortz, how about you?
I gotta be honest, man. The last few months have not been very good to the old goblin. You find out you're getting laid off, then you find out you're getting extended, and then you find out your extension is not going to be as long as it is, and you're laid off right before the holidays. And then, it kind of put me in a funk where creativity has not really been a big thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you sit there and, finally it's like, all right, cool. Because for a while towards the end there were days where I would have to go into work, clock in, sign a piece of paper, clock out, and go home.
Oh.
I got paid for the whole day, but that's why I had to go in and sign the paper. And I was like, cool, I've got all this time. I can finally sit down and finish writing this piece I was working on, or I can maybe start streaming this game or doing this thing. And then I get home and it's just the motivation was completely gone.
Yeah.
So now that I'm actually going back to the same job I just lost, actually, next week, and I'll have a schedule, and hopefully the fact I'll be getting out of the house more because of it, because I'm not a very social person in real life. I don't like people, crowds, and the general population, I'm not a big fan of.
Relatable.
I can relate to you. I feel more comfortable here. Going to BlizzCon was a stretch for me because I didn't have this monitor and this mic to be behind. I mean, it was kind of weird going up to people.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's why if I do end up at a BlizzCon, don't expect too much sober me. That's just saying.
I'll take drunk you. I'll drink too.
I'll
get
take
drunk
drunk
together. I'll be fine.
Nice.
And I think Stone said he spent quite a bit of money on alcohol this last time.
Drunk Stone is really funny.
Oh, really? I would love to see drunk Stone.
Fraz, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, you're not a drinker. So if you go to BlizzCon, you always spend a lot of money on drinks if you drink, because they price gouge the living crap out of it.
And I'm never against alcohol. I'm just very bad at moderation. I think all of you can kind of tell I'm impulsive.
You got to do what you got to do for you. Everyone's different.
Absolutely. Know your limits.
Yeah,
I guess for me, I'm finding passion in what we're doing, like even tonight, just talking with all of you. I mean, just the fact that I'm connecting with people. My best friends are you. My best friends are in the chat. I mean, just the people I never would have met if it wasn't for the podcast and the streams. I'm hearing another thing in all you're saying, that being in the right mindset for creativity. Do we enjoy what we're currently doing?
Most of the time. There are admittedly some weeks where it eats up a lot of free time. And it could be a week where, for example, if work is a little rough and I need some downtime to recover and just unplug and just enjoy gaming, but I have to keep up with the show and I have to work on it. So every once in a while, there's just some weeks, it's a little rough, but you get past that. And, at the end of the day, I still enjoy doing it.
Yes. So absolutely. I totally feel that. I feel like there's this flow that you have as a creator where, when you start thinking of something and you start brainstorming the idea for something or getting back into creating things where you're like, I have all these ideas and I'm going to do it and I'm going to set up all this stuff. And then you start, getting into it and it's fun and you're doing everything. But once you're doing something for a while, you really have to find inner motivations to keep doing it, because that that endorphin hit you got the first time you're starting to talk about it isn't always there, and it's work and it's scheduling, and you have real life adult responsibilities, and you have friend responsibilities, and you want to do this creative thing. So I think that can really impact the way you feel about how you're creating. When I was working from home and I would want to create, and I would be like, okay, but I have to get this work done. And then I've been sitting in my chair all day doing work. So as soon as the work's done, I don't want to sit at my computer anymore. And, you know, sometimes you really have to like get yourself back into the mood for creating by reminding yourself why you love it in the first place. And I think that I'm in a place right now where I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm very much wanting to hold on to that feeling.
And Xortz, how about you?
Like Anna said, you know, there's times where it's like you can't wait to sit down and get to work on whatever it is you're doing, be it a podcast, a piece of art, a piece of writing. Maybe you're painting D&D minis. Maybe you're making a clay pot, or you're crocheting or knitting or sewing or cross stitch or whatever your particular brand of whiskey is. But then it's like, okay, I can't wait to do this. And then you sit down and do it. And whatever it is, the muse, the motivation just vanishes, and you're just kind of left sitting there like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
That's the worst, because being a former role player, you know, both tabletop and D&D, I'm also, you know, as a hobby, do creative writing and write my own stupid little stories that nobody ever sees. And there's days where especially like when I was working, I'd be in the middle of my shift at night, throwing frozen pizzas and ice creams onto a pallet, going around this warehouse 20 billion times a night, and I would have an idea, and I would spend the night cultivating that idea. Like, okay, I got this idea. How can, you know, and I'd get the basic idea bigger to something I could actually work with, and I would get home, nothing.
Yep, for sure.
It definitely happens.
I think that's worse than having no idea at all. What I would do is I would at least open up my Google Docs and at least write down what the core idea was, and hope everything else would come back later. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I still get that idea down. And who knows? It could be the next day, the day after. 5 years down the road, I'll open up that doc and be like, oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to write this story about a demon who was trying to rob a casino in Vegas back in 1945. Let's do it.
Ooh.
I'd read that.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, hold on. I got to write that one down. It's actually a really good idea.
Please write that.
Yes, please write that.
Maybe share it. I would totally read it.
Absolutely.
I can definitely relate to what all of you are saying, that there are times that I don't feel that passion to create, especially like the weekends whenever like people are playing games and stuff like that. And it's like,
Yeah, you want to go game. It's a weekend.
yeah, I don't want to just be sitting here editing. And it's just like, I've had ideas like this episode. I've had the idea since last summer. But
It's true.
then I get this morning, I'm like, okay, what do we talk about? I'm like, because like it's just the 150. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want people to feel upset like that I wasted their time. So I spent time this morning and I got the idea out. It was a struggle for a little bit. It was just like, what do we talk about? Because we have a diverse group of people here, and I like that.
What is something that you do, and this for everyone to answer, but when you find yourself in those moments of being like, oh, I just don't want to work on anything right now, and as a nice little side effect, maybe I feel a little guilty about not wanting to work on those things right now. What do you do to get out of those feelings? How do you break that up?
Sometimes for me, I just get in and do it. Like, I'll admit there are some streams I do that I don't want to get in there and stream. I'm just like, I'm feeling sluggish.
Yeah.
And just starting into it gets me into that zone.
So just like pushing through and doing it, even when you don't want to.
Because like there are times like Netflix isn't so interesting. Just like the show. Hey, you got to see this show. You got to see. I'm like, no, put it away. Put it away. My cat's sleeping on the sofa. He's like, come over here, Frazley. Come over. I'm like, nope. You stay over there. You're not going to bring me over there.
And next thing you know, you're over there and the cat's a happy cat and you're all relaxed because you're with the cat and because animals are great and we don't deserve them.
No,
there are times like that. And
so true.
I am not perfect at what I say because there are times I'm just like, I got to be editing. Oh, but another episode of Better Call Saul. That's actually how I got through the entire season of You. That show is creepy, but cool.
Yeah, editing. Oh my God. I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. Although I kind of liked the fact I got so good at it, because when I talk, I have a habit of smacking my lips. I'd have Audacity up, and I'd just be looking at the feed, and I could tell exactly where those were, and I'd just be like, okay, cut that, cut that, cut that,
Yeah.
cut that, cut that, cut that, cut that. I wouldn't even have to
Start
listen to it.
noticing your little, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have to
habits.
listen to what
Yeah.
I'm cutting. I'd know exactly what it was, because it'd just be this one little line in the middle of nothing.
Well, that's so nice when you start to recognize like ums and ahs, and like I remember realizing what my laugh looked like because I was editing and just being like really enamored by that.
I could also tell because I didn't do my show sober once. I could also tell when I started to tilt a little too much to the drinking. And I would just see the thing just start running everything together. I'd be like, and that's where Xortz started slurring his words.
And a side note for people that are editing, mouth noises are even more prevalent when you're drinking.
That's true. I know for me, I have this mouth noise I'll make no matter if I'm sober or drinking coffee while I'm recording or water or whatever. And I don't know why, but it's like two little lines. So I call them vampire teeth. So every time I see it, I'm like, vampire teeth, vampire teeth, vampire teeth, vampire teeth. You see those things. I know for me, when I have those times, I have, 6 hours of editing ahead of me and I really don't want to. And I had a rough week and I just want to game. Like, if I don't get a little of that out of my system, I go insane. And instead of being able to focus while I'm editing, I'm super distracted by, Twitter. I got a message on Discord. I'm not focused at all because I don't want to be editing. So like sometimes I'll give myself like half an hour to go say game or watch a show or Netflix, YouTube, whatever, get it out of my system a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, that was your time limit. Now you have to go edit. Like,
okay,
it helps me focus more.
Something recently that has derailed my creative process when I try to write is I'll sit down to write and then I'll sit there and be like, oh, wait, I still haven't caught all the Mandalorian. And then I go down the Disney Plus wormhole of watch The Mandalorian, watch a Star Wars movie. Next thing I know, I'm into the Disney afternoon of my childhood, watching Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers for 4 freaking hours.
Mine is YouTube. I'm watching one YouTube video.
Oh, no, I still do that, too, because a song will pop in my head. I'll be like, I hadn't heard this song. It's not on my Spotify, but I have YouTube open. Okay, I want to hear Heart, These Dreams. Oh, wow, here's a live acoustic performance from like 3 years ago. Oh, my God, this is beautiful. Oh, here's the whole concert. And next thing I know, it's 5 a.m, and I was supposed to meet my dad for breakfast, and I'm a little drunk, and I can't do it. So I got to call him and be like, yeah, I didn't sleep too good. I'm not coming in. He'll be like, you're drunk. I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I feel like I always fall into a YouTube hole of like abandoned building explorations. And,
yes.
Ooh, okay. I haven't done that one yet. Let me write that one down. Let me screw my life up even more.
It's definitely a hole in YouTube you can go down and explore. But I think to Ali's point, what you can do, and something that I've read a lot of times helps people when they're having trouble focusing or having trouble doing one task, is to break it up into easier, more manageable tasks by, like Ali said, maybe taking a break for 5, 10, 15 minutes to watch something, or say, okay, I'm going to work for 15 minutes and I'll take a break for 5 minutes, and I'll work for 15 minutes and I'll take a break. And sure, it might prolong the entire thing, but at least you're not, going, wow, this is such a slog, or you don't feel too weighed down by it. You can just give yourself a little break in between.
I've been finding, like, when I edit this show on Friday and Saturday, I've added Spaz and Fraz with Spaz into my evenings. It actually has gotten me a good break, like you said, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to edit till it's time for Spaz and Fraz. I'm not going to goof off because I know I'll be goofing off for like 5 or 6 hours with Spaz. It is interesting when I do that. I actually work faster because I'm like, okay, just a little bit more. And I'm like, tomorrow, then I'll have more time if I want to watch on YouTube if I get it done today.
Yeah.
So do things for your future self.
Yes.
Sometimes I do.
Do things for you.
One thing I wanted to ask, because Xortz has already talked about something that he wants to do this upcoming year. And Xortz, I actually know a Worgen and a Pandaren I think you would work well with, because they're working on a thing. I can't say anymore. I don't want to.
A Worgen and a Pandaren. You want me to work with a couple of furries?
Oh,
furries are cool. I got into discussion with Molly. I love furries. They are so cool. Okay.
All right. You know what?
Furries are cool.
We'll talk, Fraz. We'll talk after the show.
Okay. But is there something new that we want to do this year?
I need to get back because I really did enjoy streaming and having a schedule and doing stuff like that. And that really kind of fell off by the wayside over the last few months for reasons which I've already covered. Lost my job, been in a bit of a mind funk, even though, people that do follow me on the socials and stuff, you wouldn't know because, I just spam bullshit all the time. But yeah, I've actually been in not really the best of headspaces the last few weeks. So finding out I'm getting my job back has really kind of helped me there. And now that I know what my schedule is going to be and I can actually schedule my stream week to week, I want to really kind of get back into that more regularly because I enjoy broadcasting. I actually wanted to be a radio DJ years ago, and then I found out that is not a very good field to be in because you don't make enough money to live unless you're in a major market. And there's only so many stations in every city, so...
Yep.
Streaming kind of scratches that itch to be able to get on and perform and put my own brand of BS out in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I started podcasting too.
And I think you have that fun personality. Like you have a charisma about you that I've always admired.
Oh, I'm an asshole, man. That's all it is. I'm just an asshole.
But that's it though. It's your style of assholeism.
Yeah.
I ruin every show I go on, okay?
You are the lovable asshole, so it's just...
Oh, the lovable asshole.
Every court needs a jester.
Exactly.
I'm not wearing the hat. That's a stupid hat.
Oh, dang.
I just talked with a certain peon today who said that they really enjoyed the episode with you.
Good old Thunk. Good old Thunk. Oh, that dude, James, is just one of those most sincere and sweetest people I've ever met in my life.
Oh, yes. I love his character, and I love how I can keep in character. That is.
Oh, have you seen his cat? His puppet cat that he made? Trash Can Sam? Yeah, he started making puppets.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do they look good? I love puppetry. Do they look good?
Yeah, they came out. Anna, I will follow you on the tweeters, and I will go to his Twitter and find it and spam pictures for you.
Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah. So, Ali and Anna, anything new this year that you want to work on?
I've thought about streaming.
Do it.
The thing is, it's not a lack of desire. It's more the lack of time. Because I am on Dungeon Fables, and that's pretty much a part-time job and ATA, and I'm on 3 different raid teams, and...
Well, that's your first problem right there is your raid.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Raiding bad. Raiding bad, beer is
there's
good.
There's a lot of people I want to hang out with. I could drink beer while I raid, it's fine. And I do often, but maybe getting that set up, we'll see. That's very much up in the air. But something a little more obtainable for a lack of time is posting more of my screenshots. I'll take a lot of screenshots while I'm doing a dungeon or a raid to be like, oh, hey, this is a cool part of this, and I want to share it with everyone for this episode. And then I just get so busy that I don't. And I have so many screenshots saved that I just have never taken the time to actually share. So that's something I definitely want to do more of.
That's a common WoW player problem because
right.
I take screenshots all the time because I just find these really cool shots, and they're just sitting in this folder on my hard drive. Where they've been for years.
Screenshot Sunday. Let's do it. Let's make it a thing. Let's put our WoW screenshots out there.
I'd be up for it. I sync mine over to Dropbox, and I still forget to go into Dropbox to look at my screenshots.
I don't even remember the password of my Dropbox. It's been long it's been since I've used it. Hey, just turn all your podcasts into streams. Have you ever thought about doing a live episode for like a special occasion, Allie?
Yeah, that's definitely not off the question. Like, that's why I feel like once I get set up with streaming and kind of figure out what I'm doing with everything and getting my layout and everything, then I might for some special episode be like, hey.
No, because I think that'd be cool for like a special anniversary episode, or maybe like if like a raid or a dungeon you did with people and you want to have like a round table about the story around it and everything. That would be dope.
Yeah, it's something I have considered. It's on the table. I don't know where on the table it's there, but it's there somewhere.
It's at the foot of the table where Uncle Joe sits at Thanksgiving, and he won't take his dusty fedora off even at the table. And he's sitting there like, hey, you kids today. Back in my day, we creamed our own corn. What the hell's this kid shit?
That's exactly where it is. Exactly.
Ellie, I'm trying to see you do like a lore finding streams where you do your research, you know, because surely for your research you're doing a lot of like going through the dungeons and looking up all these different things. I sure would like to know like the process of putting together one of your episodes.
And that's something I've considered too. I questioned how entertaining that would be because it's literally, okay, I'm going to start running this raid. Oh, hey, I want to look up this one particular thing, and then sit here with a straight face while I'm like concentrating and reading this for 10 minutes, and then show notes, and then the game. Like I don't know.
Idea. And I've watched people stream raids while they're with their raid teams and stuff like that, and it's a lot of listening to the raid, communicating with each other. You're not getting a lot out of the streamer except maybe during breaks, and that's fine. You know, there's people that enjoy that. Have you ever thought about going back on a higher level character and soloing dungeons you've already covered and just kind of giving your thoughts on when you were going through it for the first time and the lore and stuff like that, maybe?
I have. And actually, like, the last time I really thought to myself, if I'm going to figure out streaming, it was actually something along those lines of maybe somehow when I find some free time, like, try to schedule once a week where I go from episode 1, which was Dead Mines, and do Dead Mines for that week or whatever, and just go through each week and do one of them.
Even better, drag someone who doesn't know crap about any of those dungeons because they don't run dungeons with you.
Maybe.
And Anna, how about you?
Well, so there's a couple things that I'm doing. So I'm getting back into streaming, which I'm very excited about. My good friend and hopefully yours, Kiki Bunny, made me a bunch of stream assets that I'm really excited about using. So I'm getting back into that. Y'all are going to get tired of me once Animal Crossing comes out, I swear, because that's all I can think about, all I can talk about. It's over.
You and about 20 million other people I know.
I know. I am excited. We can't go down that path. This podcast will be 4 hours long. So
We'll wait. Hold the line.
We'll come back for an Animal Crossing special, but I'm really looking forward to streaming some Animal Crossing. And there's 2 things I want to do in regards to podcast. I really want to put a nice little bow on the end of general chat because once I got embroiled in work around September, it was just kind of like, hey, I'll come back to this when I can. I'm sorry. And I really want to put like a nice little, this is where I'm heading, this is what I'm doing, and I want to transition into a shorter format podcast. I don't want to reveal too much because I do think when we maybe talk too much about the things that we're doing, we get that initial pop of like endorphins and we think, oh, great, we get this feedback and then we lose a little bit of motivation for doing it, at least in my case. So I'm going to hold on to the idea, but I'm working on something and I'm really looking forward to it. So.
Cool.
I like what you said about that endorphin because there's a project I announced about a year ago. Have not done it since.
You get immediate validation and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it would be like to do the thing. And then you're like, well, I already got that. So why do I need to do the thing?
Yeah, why do I need to have all that fun? Yeah. And
who does things anyway? I mean, really, come on. This is the 2020. The things should be doing us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, Xortz. Whoa.
I think we broke him.
You did.
Oh, just wait.
There's just steam coming out of his ears.
Oh, believe me, in a little bit we have something even more fun. And I'd say for me, new-wise, just working on improving things, trying to find things. I was listening to a podcast today about optimizing and finding what you're doing, finding the things that aren't quite working and streamlining. And I'm trying to find ways to streamline certain things to be like, what am I more passionate about? I don't need to do everything. Like I did Frazzle Report, I did FrazlCast, I did Be Here Today, all of those every single week. Now Frazzle Report's moved to being when I get an idea, so that way it's still quality. Yes, I do every week because I love doing it and I want the consistency.
When you started this, I believe I was one of the first, if not the first person you talked to this about.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, here's the Frazzle Report, Be Awesome Today, and you were just pounding out content every single day. And it wasn't the same. It was something. I mean, Be Awesome Today was a daily thing, but you always had something else to go with it almost every day of the week. And I just sat there like, Jesus Christ. You were a podcasting content creating machine. I didn't want to put a damper on it, but I really wanted to kind of pull you off and be like, dude, you got to slow down. But you had such consistency for so long with it. I thought, you know what? He's got ideas and he's got the energy. He's got the passion. Who am I to step in and be like, listen here, son.
Slow down.
I notice you've been moving at a breakneck speed there. You're not taking some of that funny candy, are you, kid? Huh? But and I've noticed there's been a shift in gears in terms of the content, which is good because it's so easy to burn out being a content creator on any level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep.
And Fraz, I know how your mind works because you get an idea. You're a very intelligent dude. So you formulate that idea very, very quickly, and then you put that formulation into practice, and next thing you know, you're off to the races. And I'm sitting here like, oh God, there he goes again.
Yep.
But I'm glad to see you've pulled back a little and have made more time just for yourself.
Yeah, I moved some of that focus into like the streaming because I realized I need interaction with other people for me to not feel bored or lonely. But yeah, I've definitely refocused what I've been doing. And even this show started out, we got to cover WoW news. And I had some WoW news actually today. And looking at the time, I actually pulled it back because I'm loving the discussion we have. But yeah, finding what's the focus.
Well, and to add on to what Xortz said, I just have to say, like when you started streaming saying I need interaction with people, just in the short amount of time you've been doing the extra streaming, I can say the quality has improved immensely overall, and I can tell the care that you're putting into each individual thing. So I think taking the time and care to go, okay, this is how I've been working so far, and I like it, but maybe it's time for things to change, for me to shift my focus. I think that is something that we should be doing periodically to go, hey, I know this works, but how could we make it better? And I think you're really doing that, and you're doing it well.
Oh, thank you. I've been finding the same thing that like not just quantity, but the quality. I actually recorded Be Great Today's 5 times this week because I'm like, it wasn't feeling right. It was like, I could release this, but it wouldn't feel good.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah. And sometimes with friends, we can have a quantity of friends, but it's not always the quantity of friends that we have. And to Frazley, your follower count on Twitter doesn't matter. It's the quality of your friends on Twitter. One reason I asked you all here for this is you are all dear friends to me. And I'm not always going to keep up with my friends. There are days that I don't text you or I don't DM you. I'm just like, I haven't talked with you in a while. I'm sorry. But I cherish your friendships. And I kind of wanted to ask in the gaming, what is one of our favorite gaming memories that really shows that friendship side?
To be honest, dude, we don't have one. We've never gamed together. We've never done anything together in WoW. We've never done anything together outside of WoW except this show.
Do you just mean in general?
In general, yeah.
Not necessarily just Frazley.
Yeah, because I talked with you here, but you're right. I've not gamed with you in game, which is why we need to do the Xortz Stardew.
Well, Frazley, like you and me actually met over Twitter when I was doing the Wormcast, because you were in a guild that I was trying to get on the show, and then one day you came to me for whatever reason. I still haven't figured this out, because you were realizing some of the same things I was seeing about your guild leader at the time. And you were actually thinking about leading the guild. And my thing was, well, look, this is just my view of how they approach this situation that is, and they're the public face of your guild. If you're okay with that, stay. If you're not, then you need to make your own decision. And then you came back to me a couple weeks later, like, okay, I left the guild, da-da-da. And then, we had a little likes and retweets and comments here and there. And then you DM'd me again, like, I'm going to start this show. Do you want to be on it? I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm in. And it's been wacky ever since.
Oh yes. And so many different guests like Giggles, Thunk.
Oh God, Giggles, Thunk. I mean, and just through that, like, if I recall, I'm the one who told you, hey, you need to get Scruffy on this show.
Yes, and I thank you for that, because I was afraid to talk with Scruffy. Like I saw Scruffy was a streamer.
She's
like,
great.
Oh, she is.
I was sitting there like, dude, she would be perfect for your show. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I'm DMing her right now, and you're like, ah.
Back then, I was afraid to ask people on. I mean, now I'm like, okay, if the person's not a jerk, I'll bring them on.
Nope. And look what happens now. You guys are karaokeing over the damn interwebs on the Twitches. Anna, I don't have one yet. We just met today.
Yeah, you're right. We're going to have to remedy
But it has been awesome so far. It has been awesome so far. God, Allie, how the hell did we meet?
Was it through FrazlCast?
I don't know, because you're I've seen you in Fraz's stuff. I've seen you in Stone and the WoW Challenges stuff, and on Twitter. I don't recall exactly how we came into orbit with each other here.
I feel like it was FrazlCast first,
It probably was.
and then everything else followed.
Yeah. We have very similar senses of humor in a lot of respects.
We do, and I really appreciate that about you.
It's just funny. It's like, I could go out right now to the bar down the road, because, I'm a guy who does like to go to bars from time to time, and I could probably meet somebody who's a veteran like I am, or, has worked factory jobs their whole life, or maybe they're like me. They weren't born or grew up in the state. They just ended up here because, of jobs and cheap cost of living and stuff like that. And I could probably make some kind of a connection with them, but it'd be nothing like the connections I've made with you guys thus far, which some folks would say, hey, they're just people on the internet. They're not your real friends. You know what, Jack? Screw off.
Yeah.
I just said Jack. I'm starting to sound like my father. What the hell?
Like, I feel like I'm closer to all of you than even my family and my friends. I mean, it's weird to say, but like, you all know me better than I think my family does.
Yeah.
It's so true, though. It's so true.
The one thing you will never know is my true identity. I'm just a sock puppet.
Someday,
Yes.
Look, I'm not saying it's an impossibility, but it's highly unlikely.
I can dream. We talked about this already, but really though, like that's one of the great things about gaming. It does bring different people from different walks of life together, whether it's memories in games or memories on someone's stream or Twitter or whatever. Like it's a pretty great thing to be part of.
I think one memory that sticks out to me is sitting on the grass with Allie and Brandon. I love this because it's such a real thing. We're sharing a meal together, and I'm like, wow, I'm over in California with someone that I met, and like, this is the first time that we've met. But this is those gaming friendships, because I had one person that I met years ago when I was 12, and because I ran a Harry Potter Hogwarts website. That person turned around and stabbed me in the back because, like, yeah,
they wanted to be the head of House Slytherin.
Yeah,
that's totally what it was.
But like that memory, and that is one that I would not have met this friendship if it wasn't for gaming, because we probably would never have been in the same circles.
Yeah.
I've heard the rumors, and I've seen photos. I'm not sure if they've been doctored or not. But Allie, is Frazley really a giant?
Oh my gosh, I'm 5'10". Like for a female, I'm pretty tall.
What?
He is. I looked up to him. It was crazy. So tall, so tall.
I know it's hard to believe because he swears up and down he's a gnome, but
I am a gnome.
Something
He is the world's biggest gnome.
That's
just what I was gonna say. Seriously, and I knew he was gonna be tall. So like when we first saw each other, I literally was like looking up, and I did not expect to have to look up to.
See, if I go to BlizzCon and I run into Frazley, I'm not even gonna like be like, "Hey, this is what I look like, dude." I'm just gonna find him in the room and walk up to him, be staring up at him all sour, and he's gonna be looking down at me like, "What's going on, man?" I'm gonna be like, "You know damn well who I am," and he's gonna be like, "Uh-oh."
The voice is gonna give it away.
I feel like if Fraz and I ever meet in person, it'll just be it'll be hard to get us in one picture. I think. Yeah. I'm 4'11", so I think. But as far as friendships go, I mean, it's been really lovely to, I've had Fraz and Allie, we've had extended conversations, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if not for the Blizzard community. I wouldn't be able to say, like, I'm good friends with Kiki Bunny, for example, and she lives in Sweden. Like, I have a friend, Jonah, who, the second person that lives in Sweden, and, like, I would never have known or heard of them had I not, been interested in this community, been a part of talking to people in this community. And something that's so nice, when we talk about going to BlizzCon, when we talk about meeting these people face to face, I think something that makes it so easy is because we've had that time over the internet to kind of unload some of our baggage, to break down some of those barriers. So when you see someone in person, there's not that weird small talk element of trying to be like, can I really be myself with this person? Like, can I be the weird, truly unique person I am? You don't have to worry about whether or not they're going to judge you because You've already been your weird self this whole time. You've already presented your inner core of being. Is that corny to say? To another person, and so you meet them in public after all of that, and you're like, yeah, of course it works.
I can relate because like when I met Silverbolt and Barf,
Oh my god.
and even Sal, he's amazing. And like when I met them, I was like, I don't need to impress them because I've already impressed them. If they're my friends, at least I feel like I've impressed them in some way.
Yeah, that's like the mental hurdle of like meeting people like that before. I met a guildie of mine from one of my roleplay guilds back when I was on WRA. She used to live up in Michigan, and I drove up there one day, to hang out, have lunch, get a hotel, stay the night, and then meet for breakfast the next day. And the whole time I'm driving up there, I'm like chain smoking like a son of a gun because I'm nervous as hell. Because like, oh my god, I'm actually gonna meet this freaking person, in the and like you said, Frazley, it suddenly clicked. It's like, wait, they have heard me drunk as crap in vent, rambling about the stupidest thing on earth, and they still agreed to this. You're fine, you knucklehead.
Yep.
Yeah, you've already pre-gamed the friendship, so
Exactly. Look, if you could put up with me in that situation, you're fine.
And a weird thing I've noticed from the streaming and the podcast is I feel like people know me sometimes better than I know them. But like I feel like if they've listened to me long enough and watched me long enough, and I have not turned them away, then we're good.
I mean, it's like you said, like we don't talk every day, Fraz.
Yeah, no, we don't. And,
There's actually been times where we have not talked in between my podcast appearance. Like we'll go from one appearance to another and not say a word, and you'll just be like, "Yo, you want to come on?" I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." And it's like we never missed a beat.
yeah, and I don't mean for that, but it's just how my brain works sometimes. It's like I'm not.
Hey, look, it's two-way street. I'm not exactly the best at reaching out to people either. Okay.
But that's a beautiful thing about an internet friendship is that you can kind of like, we all know we have adult responsibilities and real world stuff we have to take care of. So, it's kind of like a pause. We all know that we're going to be there and we'll get back to it eventually.
Yeah,
And
with the integration of the social media into that is, I may not talk to Frazley, but hey, I know he had a hell of a day the other day because he just tweeted about it.
Right, yeah.
I know Allie had a bad day at work because she's spamming frowny emotes.
Or just sad that hockey suspended, but that's a different story.
Don't even get started.
I was going to talk about like BlizzCon tonight, but I loved where the show was going, so I modified it behind the scenes. So listeners will never know. Well, now they'll know that I modified.
Oh, no.
Look. Until they announce something, it's still on. Okay.
And it's in November. I mean, who knows what'll happen?
Yeah.
Let's not panic. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Everything being done right now is precautionary.
Yes,
Okay?
right.
It's to keep us all safer because people don't know when the hell to stay away. Like, I can understand there's people that are anxious about not going to work even when they're sick because their employers are buttholes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not feeling well, don't go to that concert. Don't go to that hockey game. Don't go to that basketball game. Miss the High School Musical. Your life is not going to end.
Now, I got a rant.
And apparently, according to Daz, I sound like Coltrane. I've never listened to Coltrane, so I couldn't tell you.
A tiny bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit, okay.
You need more of...
More what?
Gravel?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. It's me, not Coltrane.
This is Azeroth Public
Wash
Radio.
your damn hands and stop hoarding all the freaking toilet paper.
And
Seriously.
I was in the bathroom yesterday. This guy comes in, uses the urinal, and walks out without washing his hands. Wash your fucking hands!
Oh,
Sorry.
no, you see, I have no shame. I will call that sumbitch out as he's walking out the door like, hey, wash your hands!
Seriously. Especially now.
I'm like, he's an old person too. He was an old person too. I'm like, wouldn't he know that if
Dude, I don't care, man. Look, I'll be honest, man. I had the time of my life back in my 20s. My best days are over. I got nothing to lose. I will name names. I spent 3 years in Japan. It's not going to get better than that.
Well, truly, I am hoping that, when it comes to later down in the year, the things have settled down. Hopefully we're not, we're taking, like George said, precautionary measures. I'm practicing social distancing, and, I think it's a good idea to kind of, cancel things, put things on hold until, we flatten that curve, until we see the cases go down, until things kind of settle. So I think something in November, should they cancel it now? No, I think we should wait.
No, I mean, they're obviously not going to cancel it this far out there.
No. So I think we'll still have
things are going to run their course as they will, one way or the other.
Right.
So long as people don't start trying to bite each other in the neck, I think we're good.
Well, I put $1 down on BlizzCon being held this year. I don't think they're going to cancel it. I'm willing to wait.
I don't think
one whole American dollar.
Whoa.
I know, big spender.
Whoa.
Big money.
Whoa. That's probably like 1 million baht in Thailand. Just saying.
Oh dear.
The baht is not worth very much. Just saying.
That is true.
And I am going to go into kind of a self-reflective nature. I feel it's fitting for 150.
Absolutely.
Wait, do you have some soothing piano music to go with this?
Yes.
Hit it.
I can't edit now because if I need to edit the stuff, I won't be able to edit. See, I learned that. I learned in the 150 episodes, don't record your music when you're doing the podcast live because then it's harder to edit. If you mix it wrong, I've mixed episode music wrong before. In 150 episodes, I've learned consistency is definitely key. There are people that are waiting for the episode the next day. And if you can't make it at that time, let them know that, hey, it's going to be delayed by a little bit. People rely on you. And it's scary sometimes to be like, someone says they can't wait for it. And it is fun when you get it done early. You're like, okay, at this time, it's going to be there. There have actually been times that I wanted to release the episode early because I got done. I was like, no, I'll wait till Monday. Let people salivate. Or if they're a Twitch subscriber, they get it early in the Discord. Shameless plug. Keep at it as well. It's going to be hard. You're going to make mistakes. Like I talked about earlier, the mixing the stuff. Things aren't going to go right. You're going to make mistakes with how you format the show, how you edit the show. If I had given up at the different mistakes in my past, I would not be here. And it's scary to think that there were a few moments that I almost didn't want to be here. And I didn't want to continue the show at this moment. I'm glad that I kept at it. People will come and go. Guests and listeners. I've had some guests on who are on and they disappear, or we don't get along as much as we do afterwards. I wish them the best. I'm not going to spill tea on any of it because I've got no hard feelings against any of those guests. I've noticed, and I even listen to people listen to you for a little while, and they'll kind of be like, okay, I'm done for a little while, and they'll come back, and that's all good. It's a lot of work, as we said earlier. If I could count the hours I edited, I think I would go crazy. It's just like your BattleNet. Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
Not worth it.
Abort. You can't see it, but I'm throwing up the X. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Only 3% of your audience will reach out to you. And that's a stat I've heard on multiple different podcasts about podcasting. And I see it.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that stat.
It was one that
Sounds about right.
Like in radio, they were finding it, and they were finding that people, I think NPR was one of the ones, I believe. If I got it wrong, see, I made a mistake, and don't go behind that, listeners. But there are more people listening to you than you realize, which is also scary because what you say can affect people. I've had people buy the Impossible Whopper, which is delicious, by the way. You want the Impossible Whopper. It is delicious.
It's really good. I've had it. I didn't know this was a trigger for Xortz. I've had it too, and it is very good.
I prefer the real deal.
Hey, man, you do you.
And it will change your perspective on the game and on life. My perspective is a lot different now. I feel like I see people's perspectives a little bit better. It's not black and white, or it's more morally gray. I mean, maybe not morally gray. I think you should have morals, but
I see what you did there.
And it is worth it.
Can I also touch on this?
Yeah.
Everything has a shelf life.
Yeah.
Video games, TV shows, food, podcasts. Sometimes you don't know what your shelf life is. Like there are shows that were, I don't want to say they were smart enough, but they knew that they had a point that they had to cut it off due to real life reasons or interest in the show declined, stuff like that. That's what happened to me. It was just interest in my podcast because I was a very niche topic, specifically focusing on one group of people on a server. After I hit the 2-year mark, things just bottomed out and I just stopped. You know, there was no grand send-off. There was no the final Wormcast or anything like that. I just couldn't get anybody to come on. So it was like, all right. And, you know, I made a few attempts to make some changes and reach out to some of the other roleplay servers like Moonguard and Emerald Dream and stuff like that. We're not going to get into that. That was just a show in and of itself. But eventually there is going to be a day where you're going to have to look in the mirror and be like, okay, we had a good run. And you're going to have to realize you're going to have to cut the cord. You've already done 150 episodes, and the show's been doing great. It's still doing great. May do great forever. But you always got to, you got to think forward, man. I'm not trying to be negative Ned here, but I'm just, the reality is eventually there is going to have to be that cutoff. I mean, it happened to the Chaos Portal. It's happened to, what was the Hearthstone podcast with the Zords? Can't remember it. Lagging Balls, unfortunately. There was never an official announcement, but we haven't seen an episode in months. So I think Lagging Balls might be done. It just happens.
Great show.
Yeah.
You might, one thing I wish I had done was I wish I had seen that trend when it was happening so that I could have gone out with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad's saying that this got a job at Blizzard.
I mean, and Daz, you make a good point, but the episode stopped before that. I know, good honors, because she hustled her ass off to get it.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of this. I know her through some circles. I don't know her well. I'm not like her best friend or anything like that, but I'm proud of her for chasing her dream and getting it. But, in hindsight, if I'd been able to identify that decline and I was able to know where it was going to lead to, I would have gone out with a bang. I would have gone out with one hell of an episode where all bets were off. It never would have seen the light of day because of all the problems I caused.
I definitely know what you mean, because I was on a podcast. I kind of became a guest and then a co-host of a podcast that's on hiatus right now, and I think it is probably not coming back because of that. And you have to have a passion. You have to have a passion for what you're doing. If I wasn't passionate about being on here, if I wasn't passionate about talking with people,
I mean, it's not even about losing passion or anything like that. It's just life happens, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a year from now, who knows? You might meet Mrs. Fraz, get married, have kids, and suddenly you just don't have time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, that's just the nature. I mean, Activision Blizzard could make a huge screw up and go bankrupt. It probably is not going to happen, but, but if you have the opportunity to go out with a bang, detonate that mofo like it's doomsday.
Kind of Thelma and Louise it.
Hell yeah. I'm thinking more Dr. Strangelove. Take your cowboy hat, ride that bomb down.
Hopefully 150 is not my Thelma and Louise or...
No, dude, it is no... I'm not going to let it be your Thelma and Louise.
Okay, good. But I think one thing that will at least Thelma and Louise it for tonight, but not the whole show, will be, I was asking the community, what phrase do you want us to say in ASMR? I was asking this on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and Instagram. And there's a color code for all of us. So Xortz, you've got to play along too, Xortz.
All right. I'll play your game, Gnome Boy. Just remember, goblins are taller and genetically superior.
I'll let you believe that. See, I learned.
No, actually, me and Turnwinkle did a side-by-side comparison. Goblins are taller than gnomes.
It's all about perspective.
No. Physically, they are taller than gnomes.
Okay. And we're doing this in the ASMR, so I got to channel the ASMR. Sean says, what's ASMR?
Valencia says, long hair for blood elves.
Tom says, I'm a leper gnome, and I feel icky.
Cap says, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watch sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Time to die.
Cap also says, let them come. Frostmourne hungers.
I will be reading Cap's third quote here. I prefer to remember the temple as it used to be, not the abomination it has become. My soul bears the burden of my misjudgment, but I have been patient. I have been waiting. And when the time is right, the betrayer will become the betrayed.
Allie has put in the request of, there must always be a Lich King.
And Allie says, take candle.
And what does Allie say?
I'm trying so hard not to laugh. Okay. I also say, I am the lucid dream, the monster in your nightmares.
And as the final and best Allie, I will... the final and best Allie, I am the fiend of 1,000 faces.
I just want you to know, I absolutely hate this one because it was such a forced goddamn meme by the community. Unfortunately, a turtle made it to the water. LOL.
And that was by Tardicay. Now, the next paragraph is by special request by Madros of All Things Azeroth. And he has requested specific people for these paragraphs. Allie will start.
I see how it is.
Does he seriously want me to say all these?
Yes, he DM'd me in Discord. He slid into my DMs.
Yeah. Okay, then.
This is Madros saying it, so this is not Allie saying it, even though Allie is saying it right now.
Some of these I would say. Some of these I went to slap Medros for.
Just
okay.
Let it happen.
Give in to your inner asthma.
This might kill me. All right. Keep in mind this first one I don't agree with. Wrathion is such an evil creature. Aren't pirates so hot? Don't make me kill you to see if you drop a mount. Oh boy. I just love going deep into dungeon lore and going as hard as I need so I can bring you the best stories from Azeroth. But wait, there's more. I'd do anything if Arthas would give me his ride. I just... I can't.
Okay. Did you want me to finish them for you?
No, it's okay. I'm almost done. 2 more.
Because I will.
It's okay. I got it. It's okay. I just love to delve deep into the history of the world. I just love to meet a succubus. They just know how to whip it good.
I was literally dying, like, out of frame, just...
I almost lost my crap about going deep.
I'm going to have words with Medros on Monday.
I'm sure you will. That was evil and cruel, and I love him for it. I've never talked to him, I've never met with him, but he is now one of my heroes.
Look, podcasts are an audio medium, but y'all need to come back and watch
Lord.
videos of this to see the faces, because it's worth it.
Cap actually has a special... Cap, is there anybody in particular you need that request fulfilled by?
Because we'll add it, Cap.
He wants Fraz to do it.
Okay.
That's okay. Frazley still has a few more lines
Yep.
from Medros. Not as bad as mine, but still.
Oh, these ones I don't agree with either, Medros. But I'll let you believe it. Paladins just fill me with the warm and the fuzzies. I wish I was tall and strong, like my favorite paladin, Medros. And who needs Nobragon when you can stay in Stormwind instead? And this next one's by Cap. Would you like some extra butter on your popcorn, dear? And there is context to this one, Cap.
Why do I feel like this is like a weird Steve Gutenberg diner reference?
Capo is trying to break Frazley.
Oh yeah, what's the context here?
Popcorn buckets
With
dates.
a glory hole.
Oh yes, that old classic.
I
he
knew
was
it.
trying to be. He was trying to be his BB Herman. Ah!
No. If you've ever seen the movie Diner with Steve Gutenberg, he does that in the movie.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. Not showing my age or anything.
Well, this is by me, for me, in honor of the beautiful Liam O'Brien and Illidan Stormrage. You are not prepared.
This next one is me because I'm a goblin and goblins are the master race. Hey, how you doing?
You're channeling your Matt LeBlanc.
Can we all do a how you doing? Like I'm really.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Which, by the way, if anybody has ever grown up in the state of New York, that is a greeting, not a question. We do not care. Living in Indiana now, I will sit there and people will be like, hey, what's up? I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And they'll be like, oh, well, I'm like, dude, that wasn't a fucking question.
I don't need to know your life story.
And they'll just look at me like, what?
And this last one is by me. You're a tall one.
You're such a tall one.
Oh goodness. Is this Frazley After Dark? Did we mix up the episodes? I feel like.
Not yet, that's post show.
Oh, there's a Frazley After Dark clip out there, Anna.
Oh, I saw.
There is.
So you know what you're getting into when you say that.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining me on FrazlCast. This was a fun time. It was one that I knew it'd be out of our norm. It just would be different. It's one that people are going to either love or they're going to hate. It's going to be.
Hey, if they hate it, you know what? We don't need them.
Exactly. Hey, but as I say in podcasting, if you get an emotion, you either love me or hate me, just don't be neutral about me.
Exactly. That's so long as there's a reaction, you win.
Exactly. So where can we find all of you on the interrupts? We'll start with, and I found my alphabet today. We'll start with Allie.
I'm so glad you found your alphabet. So 100, episode 150, Frazley finds the alphabet.
Next, he'll be able to tie his own shoes and stop using Velcro.
Oh!
That'll be episode 200.
I just tripped on my shoes. I tied them today for the show.
I'm so proud of you.
Then I tripped.
So you can find me on Twitter at ElleAndersK. You can find my show Dungeon Fables at Dungeon Fables on Twitter or dungeonfables.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can hear me every week on All Things Azeroth. If I don't, quit after Medros made me read those lines.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to tweet at Medros. And he's going to be like, who's this guy?
And Anna, where can we find you?
All right, so you can find me on the Twitterverse at Anastazja Celise. That's hard to spell, so I'm going to direct you over to Frazley's social media, where you can find my handle linked in the tweet about this episode. And come March 20th, which is a mere 8 days away, I'll be nonstop streaming Animal Crossing. So if you're interested in that, I'm at twitch.tv/Anastazja.
I can already picture Kara's going to be all over there because Kara loves Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I have never played an Animal Crossing game in my life.
They're rad as hell. If you like
My
Stardew Valley.
ex-girlfriend's daughter was really into it, but here's the funny thing. Like, I love Stardew Valley, but the games that it, pays homage to, zero interest in whatsoever.
So if listeners wanted to tell you how much Stardew Valley is great, Xortz, where can they find you?
Well, if they want to tell me Stardew Valley is great, I'll be all ears because I love that game.
Oh, Animal Crossing.
You know, they can try, but, you know, they're not going to get, no. I got to draw the line somewhere on, air quotes here, wholesome games.
Oh, boy.
All right. But if this is your first time being exposed to my particular brand of worldview and humor, I apologize. As my compatriot Stone at Stonegrass on Twitter would say, sorry, because he's Canadian. You can find me over on the Twitters at Xortz the Goblin, all one word, all lettercase, XORTZTHEGOBLIN. And you can also find me more frequently over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/XORTZTHEGOBLIN, all one word, all lowercase, where I stream some WoW challenges stuff. I've been trying to stream some SWTOR, but I've been having some issues with that game lately, so that may be off the table. I also stream from my PS4 because I haven't gotten my capture card hooked up yet, where I will be finishing Red Dead Redemption 2 here shortly. I might start streaming some of my matches of Friday the 13th I have with some friends I made on there. And for Wrestling Geeks, I do an all-women's created wrestling show once a week. Used to be on Sundays, but since I'm going back to work, that's going to change. Where I make the wrestlers, let the AI fight it out, and just commentate over the matches.
So would you say in Red Dead Redemption that you are horsing around?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because I will be on my way to go do a story quest, and I'll ride by somebody, and they'll be like, better stay away from me. And then next thing you know, I've got them lassoed, and I'm dragging them to death behind my horse.
I have actually seen you do that on one of your streams before.
Yes, I have no tolerance for NPCs bullcrap in that game. I have gone on murder sprees where I have killed an entire town, had a $300 bounty, wanted dead or alive. I ride out of that county to the next town, go to the railroad station, pay the bounty, and I'm good. I'm a horrible person in video games. I really am.
That's the joy of rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting. You can do whatever you
want. Oh no, I'm a horrible person in Stardew Valley too. Who are you kidding? I get you know the part where you have the big luau on the beach. You're supposed to bring the community soup. They're cooking on the beach because that's sanitary, and they're like, bring a high quality ingredient. I throw like slime in there.
Oh no!
I hope you all get food poisoning. I don't give a crap about your governor. Screw you, Lewis.
Activating customized orphan transporter.
Well, I am back, Moon of Ironforge, until we one day reclaim Gnomergon.
Yeah, I'm a gnome.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Awesome! Let's do that! So the signups for the 2020 Mythic Dungeon International and Arena World Championship have opened! The MDI registration closes March 20th, and AWC closes on May 11th. Find all the details at the links in the show notes. Maybe you will be the next champion of Azeroth. Icy Veins reports on an article by .esports about the future of the race to world first, talking with both complexity to limit and method about things like the production, the comms being used on limit streams. In our Discord, that was one thing that Nihar said was one of his favorite things about the limit streams, and more. You can get a behind the scenes look by rating this article. Do you like trivia about WoW? Well, Icy Veins points to the thing just for you. Kruithne and Falarian have released a quiz called Where in Warcraft Classic Edition. It's a visual quiz and will test your knowledge of Azeroth's geography. I'll fail this probably as I'm bad at geography. I always tell people to go up when I'm actually going down somewhere. There's also one for retail as well. So head on over and see what you know. And do you know a lot about paladins and balanced truths in Classic? Are you inspired by Renata's story of writing for Wowhead on episode 144 of FrazlCast? Then Wowhead is looking to hire you. Send them a letter and hopefully it guides you to a career writing class guides. And Icy Veins reports that Slendy Daddy of Reddit is back with another reforged loading screen. This time of Kalimdor. And speaking of art, I gotta mention this. Karita Windwalker made a gorgeous piece of art for my friend Kayafin showcasing her Draenei. I loved it. It was so cute. I love things like this. And I love art in general. And Blizzard has just announced the student art contest winners for 2019. Check these out, and maybe one of these will be a future employee of Blizzard or somewhere else in the gaming industry. Our community is full of a lot of awesome people, and the community does a lot of good things for good causes. My good friend Des Mephisto, who I got to meet at BlizzCon, is back this year for another series of streams and self-community events to raise money for the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. The description of ASAN is that they are a charity run by autistic individuals with the purpose of advocating for us in the workplace, schools, and more. You can find Dust on Twitter and Twitch at Dust. I've got a link in the show notes to his Twitter. The fun begins April 2nd and continues through the end of this month. There's a lot of cool events going on, from raids to a Perky Pugs run. See if you can get an awesome ATST mount, while also raising money for a good cause. To a 20 to 120 warrior speed level run, trivia night, a Hot Ones challenge, and more. Follow him and consider donating to this great cause.
This has been another awesome episode of FrazlCast. Take it away, Frazzlepants.
Thank you, Scruffy. I was honored to be on Two Nerds Maybe More episode 4. Wow, that rhymes. I talked with Michael, who you may know from our weekly Genome Project streams at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We talked about story and video games and more, and Jendin told me that they loved this episode. Navox listened to 149 with Aeon and tweeted, "That Norwegian train channel is no joke. If you have trouble sleeping, give this a watch. Low volume though, because that gong is a little jarring." And Kira said that episode 149 was a fun listen. And Rig of Charactercraft also listened to the episode. They said that they love Aeon, cool guy, and they said that he has a smooth AF voice. I don't know what AF means. As Frazley? My voice smooth? And Rig said that Aeon needs to do a voiceover or a podcast. And Rig even says if Aeon ever fancies doing a voiceover for us, that'd be a great. And shout out to Spaz, who sent me a really cool mug of Ribbon Bird. I didn't wash it before drinking, so not a smart move, Frazley, to not wash anything before you drink from it, but I'm just seem to be okay. But it's a really cool mug, and thank you, Spaz, so much for this. And thank you to everyone for the kind words about reaching 150. Cap, as well as Lucas of Cardiac Valley podcast and in voicemails that I will be playing following this outro. It has been a wild ride, and I can't believe we made it to 150. I can't wait to see where we go from here. This show's shelf life isn't anytime soon, so there's no Thelma Louising it. I keep trying to make every episode even better. I got a massive number of shoutouts, and I want to thank you all for these. I got one from Jason Lucas of The Starting Zone, Sai of Scrub vs. World, Cap, Valicia, Telleroyd, Chad, Nick of Wild Talk Radio and Tarn and the Goblin, Kara, who I heard is on This Week in Picard and This Week in Discovery, Rig of Charactercraft Podcast, Navax of Unstock of Fury Podcast, Kyafin, Jer, Tosh Mifune of The Half Hill Report. I even got one from Coltrane, got one from Boomtap, and today Constructs of Control Out Loud sent me one, and Amanda, Monica, and Tom congratulated me during our DPS game time today. Thank you to everybody for all these encouragement, all these notes, hearing from any of you throughout the week in some way that I made your week better, or if there's anything that resonated with you. It means a lot. It really helps in all the episodes, all the time that takes in to do show notes, record, to edit this, get this ready, to know that you listen and that you're enjoying it means a lot. And every week, in addition to thanking those who give me words of encouragement, I also like to thank those who have given back to the show financially. Thank you to my Twitch subs out there. Thank you to Arter, Burkhart, Cap, Crunk, Harlow, Jendin, Carinza, Leah Wild, Lucas of Cardiac Valley Podcast, Michael of the Genome Project and Two Nerds Maybe More, Nihar, Knight, Norco Killer of Miscellaneous Podcast, Omnisparks. Oh, that one must have been a gifted sub. Unless, is Omnisparks sentient? Uh-oh. Pete of Project Phoenix Productions and Stories about Azeroth, Razarus, Rig of Charactercraft Podcast, Rock DWG, which I believe is Rock Dog, Sash, Scissor Lord, Sir Nate the Great, Telleroyd, Felicia, and Xortz the Goblin. And thank you to Harlow, who gifted 5 subs this week. And thank you to Cap, Carinza, Lucas of Cardiac Valley, and Scissor Lord for the bits. If you want to support the show financially, please go to support.gnomepodcast.com. If you have Twitch Prime through Amazon Prime, you can use your free Twitch Prime subscription on my channel. You get a free sub to use on any Twitch channel every month. All of your support goes up and supports this labor of love. Thank you so much. Well, I am Frazley, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. There you can catch past episodes and find out many of the places where you can subscribe to this show and get the Gnome Train coming to you every week. Well, until next week, for 151, be awesome.
Oh, hey, Frazley. Fancy running into you here in the middle of Ironforge. Listen, I'm actually on my way to the tram to head out to the valley, but while I have you, congratulations on your 150th episode. You've come such a long way from your very humble beginnings, but hey, listen, you've got to be very proud of what you've accomplished. And thank you so much for what you've given us. You've given us so many hours of enthusiasm and positivity and entertainment and friendship and so many other things. But thank you. Here's to another 150 episodes, or 250, 350, who knows? I would try to guess, but I honestly don't have enough fingers and toes to count that high, but maybe if I go down to Mechagon, I can find some spare parts to make up for that. Maybe next time. Anyway, I won't keep you too long. Congratulations!
Hey, Frazley! It's your old pal, Cappy Poo the Hamster. And I just wanted to congratulate you on 150 episodes of the flagship FrazlCast podcast. Thank you for all the time and effort you put in each week to ensure that the fans are thoroughly entertained, not only on this podcast, but on all the things that you're involved with. All your little mini episodes, all the other podcasts that you guest host on, all the little videos that you make to keep us entertained throughout the day. Just keep on plugging along, man. Big things for you in your future. Definitely one of the top 10 people that I've met in the last decade. And I'm glad I did, because you're a righteous fella. Even though you have poor taste in Warcraft races and social media platforms. But we won't get into that. Anyways, Frazley, here's to 150 more. Keep being awesome, bro. And don't forget to wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Frazley, don't die of the coronavirus. 'Cause I don't want to live without you in my life. Anyways, like I said, thanks for all you do, Frazley. Keep up the great work. I know ya. TikTok.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard Games, and they are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended. This show is for the community, and it contains contributions from the community. The Gnome Train Intro is by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth. The opening music is by Brandon T. Blaylock. The Gnome Roar is by Jen of Morally Grey Podcast, and the Frazzlepants bumper at the end is by the Scruffy Druid of Loot Optional and Viral Voice Arts.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.
Hi, Frazley. This is Cap again. And I know I already left you a voicemail in my hashtag small creatures voice. But I figured I'd get in on the ASMR fun. Since we're on break and raid, I just want to know one thing. How you doing? And yes, I would like some extra butter on my popcorn.
It's been fun. Farewell!